The storm showed no mercy as they left the diner. Snow erased the road ahead, headlights carving a narrow tunnel through the white. Caleb drove with both hands firm on the wheel, posture steady, eyes forward. Briggs sat upright in the back seat, angled protectively toward the young woman beside him. Caleb didn't fill the silence. He spoke only when necessary. "This storm's going to last," he said. "Being outside in it isn't an option." The turnoff to Clearwater Ridge appeared suddenly. A narrow road climbed into the trees, swallowed by darkness. Caleb guided the truck upward until a small cabin emerged from the snow, low and solid, smoke curling from the chimney. Inside, warmth wrapped around them. A wood stove glowed softly. The air smelled of pine and old coffee. Caleb hung her wet jacket by the door and handed her a towel. "Dry off," he said. "Fire's good." He reheated stew, set bread on the table, then stepped away, giving her space. She ate slowly, carefully, as if hunger were something to manage, not indulge. Briggs lay near her feet, radiating warmth. Only after the worst of the cold faded did Caleb speak again. He leaned against the counter, not sitting across from her. "You're from around here," he said, not a question. She nodded. "Pine Hollow." Caleb studied her quietly. "I'm not offering charity," he said evenly. "Storm's locking us in. I could use help around the place. Wood, animals, upkeep. You eat with me. When the road's open, you go where you were headed." She measured him, used to offers that came with conditions. "How long?" "A few days." After a long pause, she nodded. "Only until the storm breaks." That night, the wind battered the cabin while she slept deeper than she had in months. Caleb moved methodically through the house, checking locks, banking the fire. He didn't offer shelter. He offered dignity, and that made all the difference. Morning arrived quietly. Snow lay thick along the land. She woke early and cooked without asking, stretching simple ingredients into something filling. When Caleb entered the kitchen, he stopped short. The table was set. 2 plates. Order where there had been only habit. They worked side by side in silence. She folded blankets, aligned boots, fed animals, repaired what needed repairing. Briggs followed her naturally, attentive but calm. The cabin no longer felt empty. The quiet felt shared. Caleb noticed something else too. She didn't ask about him. Didn't ask about the photographs turned face down. Didn't ask why a man lived alone in a place built for more. And that silence carried weight. Snow whipped sideways across the narrow Appalachian highway, swallowing the road in white as if the mountains wanted to erase it completely. At the bend of the road sat an old diner, stubborn and glowing, its yellow lights cutting through the storm like a promise of warmth. Inside, the smell of coffee and fried food hung heavy, familiar, comforting. The bell above the door rang sharply as a young woman stepped inside, carrying the cold with her. The room reacted the way it always did. Conversations faded. Forks paused midair. She didn't look dangerous, just tired. Her coat was thin, her hair damp with melting snow, her face drawn tight with exhaustion. She moved from booth to booth without asking, only meeting eyes briefly, quietly hoping. Each look slid away. No one said no, but every silence meant the same thing. At the far end of the diner sat Caleb Rourke. 35 years old, broad-shouldered, composed, he carried himself like a man who had learned discipline the hard way. Years in uniform had stripped away unnecessary motion. He noticed everything, doors, reflections, shadows, without appearing to. At his feet lay Briggs, an aging German shepherd with a graying muzzle and alert eyes. Once a military K9, Briggs now rested calmly, aware without tension. Caleb had already been served. Black coffee. Eggs. Bacon. Routine mattered. Sarah, the waitress, didn't need to write anything down. She slid a bowl of water toward Briggs with her foot and murmured that the kitchen had saved him some chicken. Briggs waited until Caleb gave a soft command before moving. The young woman made it halfway across the diner before her strength gave out. She reached Caleb's table, her knees buckling as the last of her energy disappeared. Caleb was on his feet instantly. He caught her carefully, lowering her to the floor instead of letting her fall, movements controlled and practiced. "Easy," he said quietly. "I've got you." Her skin was cold, too cold. Sarah rushed over with hot chocolate and soup without being asked. Caleb shrugged off his jacket and wrapped it around the woman's shoulders, blocking the draft from the door. Outside, the storm intensified, wind rattling the windows like a warning. "You can't be out in this," Caleb said calmly. "It's getting worse." The woman looked up, pride flickering behind exhaustion. She knew. He didn't ask questions. Didn't demand explanations. He made a decision. "Let's get you somewhere safe," he said. Briggs stood, stepping closer, steady and sure, as if he already understood what came next. The truth surfaced without warning. She was doing laundry when something heavy slipped from Caleb's work pants and hit the concrete floor. Leather. She picked it up, fingers tracing the worn strap. Her breath caught. Inside the belt were markings, 3 carved lines and a crooked letter C. Her father's mark. Her hands shook as she turned it over, recognizing every imperfection. The uneven hole punched by hand. The faint burn near the edge from a wood stove long ago. She walked into the main room holding the belt carefully. Caleb looked up, and something in his expression shifted the moment he saw it. "Where did you get this?" she asked, voice steady but fragile. Caleb set his tools down slowly. 15 years ago, he said. Winter deployment. Mountains. I was bleeding out. A man came out of nowhere. Used his belt as a tourniquet. Saved my life." She swallowed hard. "That man was my father." The room tilted. She told him everything, how her family was shunned, how work disappeared, how her father left the hills and never came back. How her mother died sick and broke. How papers were signed she didn't understand. How she lost everything. Caleb didn't interrupt. He didn't defend himself. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "You lived," she said. "We didn't." She packed quickly, controlled, final. Left his flannel shirt folded. Left the quilt. Placed the leather strap on the table between them like a boundary. "I won't stay here," she said. The door closed. Snow swallowed her shape almost instantly. That was when the memories hit Caleb hard. The ridge. The blood. The screaming. His chest tightened as panic surged. Briggs moved instantly, pressing close, grounding him. When the dog turned sharply toward the door, Caleb understood. "Not in this storm," Caleb muttered, but followed anyway. They found her near the tree line. Caleb spoke carefully, honestly. He didn't ask forgiveness. He shared the weight he carried, the men he couldn't save, the cost of surviving. She cried then, grief finally breaking free. Briggs pressed gently against her, steady and warm. "I don't forgive everything," she said at last. "But I can stop running." That was enough. The days that followed brought change in small, honest ways. Paperwork surfaced. Truth aligned. With help from people who knew how systems failed, the fraud unraveled. The land was returned. The house came back to her. Spring arrived slowly in Pine Hollow. She unlocked her family's door with shaking hands. It wasn't perfect. It was hers. The community followed. Quiet apologies. Restored names. Shared meals. A small center formed where people helped one another protect what mattered. Briggs aged gracefully into his new role, guardian of calm rather than danger. They visited the graves together. Caleb placed the leather strap at the base of the stones. "Thank you," he said. "I'm sorry it took so long." "I'm home," she whispered. Caleb didn't make promises he couldn't keep. He stayed. The wedding came without spectacle. Honest. Warm. The valley remembered how to hold its own again. Some miracles arrive quietly, through people who refuse to look away.